Hey y'all, it's Chris with Rockin Farm. Y'all, I have had a day. Started out like any other day. I was working from home today, and at this point we're gonna say, thank goodness. As you're gonna see as I tell this story here, everything always has a way of working out, but good night, it was a day. At about 10 o'clock this morning, I decided to go out and take my little walk around the farm. You know, I take about a 15-minute break in the morning, you know, kind of halfway between my start time and the time that I take my lunch at my day job. And I just kind of do a little farm walk and pick up some feed bowls and that kind of stuff, and then come back in and get back to work. It's nice to stretch my legs. It's nice to see the animals. So I'm out on my nice relaxing walk, and I see that out on pasture, one of my gilts has built a nest and is laying in the nest and is very obviously in labor. Now here's the big kicker, y'all, and I'm going to explain this later, but this gilt, I wasn't expecting her to be in labor for quite some time. So now I'm in panic mode. I need to try and get this gilt off of pasture and into my barn. So I'm thinking, you know, I should probably go call my boss and let him know that I'm going to take a longer than normal morning break and that I'll use some vacation time or whatever is necessary. All of my bosses know that I own a farm. They know that there may be a day where I end up calling in pig. So quite frankly, they're used to the fact that they have an employee that's a farmer too, and I'm very blessed to be working at the place that I'm working at. But before I can get back in the house, I get a call from my children's school that says that there has been a threat made, and that in an effort to be cautious, they want all of the children picked up from school. So now I'm calling my boss to say, hey, I might need to call in pig for a bit today, but I need to run and get my kids right now. Turned out that my wife was closer to the school than I was. She got the boys. She got them home. The boys are safe. The threat was real enough that it was very scary for the family. It was very emotionally taxing for us, but the boys got home. The boys were safe. My wife brought them. My wife was safe. Sigh of relief. Thank goodness. Oh yeah, the pig. I need to get this pig off the pasture, and I need to get this pig into the barn. Oh, but wait, I can't because I have piglets in the barn. Okay, that's cool. I'll just move the piglets out of the barn and I'll build them a quick paddock. I have some hog panels laying around. Sweet, to build a quick paddock, I just need 12 T-posts. I've got like 400 bent T-posts. 400 is an exaggeration, y'all. I probably do have 30 or 40 T-posts, but they're all shaped like the letter S. So now I need to go get T-posts, but I don't have time to get T-posts because I'm still working. I call my boss. I let him know the boys are safe. I let him know that the wife is safe. I let him know that I'm still having farm issues. It's pretty close to lunchtime anyhow. So I say, I'll make sure I'm at our meeting at 2 o'clock. I use my lunchtime. I run down to the feed store that's local to us. They have 12 T-posts left, and I need 12 T-posts to complete my project. Thank goodness. So I pick up the 12 T-posts. I run back home. I very quickly build the enclosure you see sitting behind me, which I never could have accomplished as quickly as I did if my son had not been home. So it was one of those, I hate the fact that my son is home for the reasons that my son is home, but thank goodness my son is home. So we threw together this little 6 hog panel enclosure. I went back to work. I had my son go out to our stockpile and pull this old water container house that we made a long time ago out with the tractor. He put it in here. He threw some hay in it. He let me know when he was done. We grabbed up the piglets and we moved the piglets out on, I guess you could call it pasture. Now I have an empty barn stall, so now we can move the other pig. We go out on pasture, y'all, too late. She's already got 1 piglet on the ground and she is still in labor. It's also coming up on the time of day when I knew that I had a meeting. So again, asked my son, who shouldn't have been home, but thank goodness he was home. Keep an eye on her, give her her space. She's young, too young to be having piglets. But give her space and let me know if you think that she's in some kind of serious trouble, and I've got to go to a meeting. So I run back in the house, I jump on my Zoom meeting, I complete the entire Zoom meeting, I come back outside, we've got more piglets. So now my son and I were actually able to move her. So it's one of those, it all worked out for the best. I've got a happy, healthy, young gilt in the barn with her 3 piglets. I've got Trixie's piglets moved out into a pen of their own where they've got shelter, water, and feed. They're going to be fine. All's well that ends well. The boys are safe. My wife is safe. All the pigs are safe. All the piglets are safe. I'm just exhausted, y'all. So how did this happen? Well, this is another good news, bad news scenario. So if y'all remember my videos from a while back, we had an ornery boar that I couldn't keep contained, partially because of the drought and partially because I was trying to contain him with only electric during a drought. Now he is fully contained because we've got nice moist ground, which means all of our electric fences are hitting hard, but now he's in an enclosure that is hard fence with electric fence. So it's just way too much for him to even think about getting out. But what happened with this gilt, and her name is Esme, we'll show you her in a little bit. Esme was in heat. She came out of her heat cycle. So I was like, okay, I think she was 6 months old at the time. So I said, okay, cool. So I'll catch her next heat cycle. She'll almost be 7 months old. When that one's done, I will put her in with Oliver, and then she'll hopefully get bred right around the time that she's 8 months old, which means that she would farrow just before her first birthday. Now, around the time of her second heat cycle, I remember going out, checking to see if she was in heat. I didn't see anything yet, made a note, check on her again in a couple of days, but I never checked on her again in a couple of days. A few more days went by, I went back out, she wasn't in heat, and I was like, oh, crud, I missed her heat cycle. Okay, well, when her next heat cycle comes around, he'll catch her. Well, the time for her next heat cycle came around, and I came out one day and I saw just acting like he was interested in her, you know, where they kind of come around each other and stuff like that. And I thought, she must be in heat again. But was I smart enough to go over and check if she was in heat again? No, I wasn't. I just assumed she was in heat again. Never actually saw that she was in heat again. Never actually saw Oliver mount her. But then I put that date on my calendar, and then 21 days later and for several days after, I checked and I never saw her in heat. But I did see that it looked like her turkey timer was starting to pop out. I thought, oh, sweet. So it worked out. This worked out just the way I wanted it to. And then she went into labor today, y'all. I took today's date and I backed it up 118 days, and it fell during the week where we were having trouble with Weddle and couldn't keep him in his pen. I know 100% for a fact that these piglets are Weddles because the only possible way that they could be Olivers is if they are 42 days premature, and these are happy, full-grown piglets. So I know for a fact they're not 42 days premature because that's not even possible anyhow. So I guess the good thing is we know 100% beyond the shadow of a doubt who the daddy is, because Oliver has never gotten out of his pen. Esme has never gotten out of any of the pens that she's been in, but Mr. Weddle Canelo, the culprit, has gotten out several times, and it was during about a 10-day period that we just could not keep him contained. So y'all, I officially feel like I should be up for crappiest Idaho pasture pig breeder of 2022. And the reason I'm shooting this video is because I have always promised y'all I'm going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So here's like an area where with my pigs I have failed horribly. Obviously had no freaking clue what was going on my farm. But in my outcries to other breeders that I consider much better breeders than myself, I have basically received back from them, Chris, it happens. Stuff like this happens. So I'm shooting this video for all those people that are just getting into raising pigs, just getting into raising livestock. Look, y'all, stuff happens. It didn't turn out the way that I expected. It didn't turn out the way that I wanted, and it created a miserable day for myself and my family. But it's all going to work out just fine. She was only 6 months old when she got bred. That's way too young, really. I mean, I would never purposely breed a gilt that young, but she has 3 happy, healthy piglets. She passed both placentas. She's nursing. She's okay. The piglets are okay. The boys are okay. The wife is okay. It's all gonna be okay. Hi, Mama. Where's your babies? Where's number 3? Over by your head? Yes. There we go. 3 happy, healthy babies. A gilt that is only 10 months old. But she's happy and healthy as well. Our accidental daddy is officially under control. And now we can put the crappiest IPP Breeder of 2022 award up on the bookshelf and work towards winning better awards. All's well that ends well. But those of you who are new to breeding animals, don't lose faith when you start having problems, because you're gonna have problems. All you can do is work through them and hope they turn out for the best. This has been Chris with Rockin Farm, showing you all his garbage. So until I see y'all again, be happy and live healthy.